Hello, and now for the Greek of the last part of Acts chapter 15. So last week we finished up the Jerusalem Council, and today we start the second missionary journey. And so we begin with the very end of Acts 15 to set up the second missionary journey. So verse 36, and after certain days, this is the indefinite pronoun, Paul, who comes last, but he's nominative, so we know grammatically he comes first. Paul said to Barnabas, aping an aorist, it's the aorist of Lego, right? Third person singular, a nu with an epsilon in front of it is almost always a movable nu. Woo! Epsilon is a very common third person singular past tense ending, past tense active indicative, and since it's aping an aorist, we have aorist active indicative, third singular from Lego. So, and after certain days, Paul said to Barnabas, colon, what did he say? Quote, direct discourse, capital letter. Having returned, indeed, let us visit the brothers according to city all, in which we proclaimed the word of the Lord, how they have. Okay, not particularly good English, how they have, or how you doing? Something like that. How are they doing is what we would say in English. This almost has a sense of let's return and let's visit. That seems to me to be the sense here, but it is a participle, right? My aunt is an active participle. Psi is the key to a hidden sigma. So we have a hidden sigma alpha, which tells me it's what tense? Aorist. So it's an aorist active participle. Nominative masculine plural from epistrepho, to return. Having returned, indeed, let us visit. So it's a let us subjunctive. See, the long vowel before the ending is a clue that it might just be subjunctive. And a first-person plural subjunctive is a hortatory subjunctive, or as they say in England, a hortatory subjunctive. Psi is the key to hidden sigma. With the subjunctive, a sigma indicates aorist rather than future. So it's let us visit. It might be deponent. It's at least aorist middle, because if it was aorist passive, it would have a theta eta involved. Yes, let's just say that it is middle, in which case, I don't know, let us ourselves do it. Let's do it ourselves. Let's not give it to somebody else. Don't want to overread it. But it's first person plural, aorist middle subjunctive from episkeptomai. Oh, it's deponent, sorry, episkeptomai. Okay, that answers that one. This is a kind of a, indeed, it's a kind of a little emphatic particle there. Having returned, indeed, let us visit the brothers according to every city, in which, relative pronoun, city is feminine, so this is plural. And of course, even though this is singular, according to every city, collectively they're plural. So in which we proclaim the word of the Lord, this is aorist. The alpha is a hint. One lambda instead of two is a hint. Internal lengthening is a hint. Augment is a hint. Aorist active indicative, first plural from katangelo. 37. And Barnabas was planning. This is the imperfect of bulo. I think it's imperfect. I see no traces of it, like there's no alpha here that would make it aorist. So Barnabas was planning to take John, the one being called Mark, along. Now maybe Barnabas, maybe he's in charge. I don't know. Maybe that's why. Maybe Barnabas says, look, I'm in charge and I'm taking Mark. I don't know. Maybe he thought everybody deserves a second chance. All of that would be true, but Paul disagreed. And so, as I said in the podcast, here's an example of two people. Both of them are full of the Holy Spirit. Both of them are godly, but they disagree, and they can't find an answer. And so they agree to disagree and go their separate ways. This is the aorist because it's lobbing you an aorist. Interestingly, down here, we have the same word, but it's present infinitive down here. It's aorist infinitive right here. With infinitives and such, the difference between the present and the aorist is the kind of action. Time is not involved. In the infinitive, time is not involved with aorist and present infinitives. It's about kind of action. So a present infinitive, sum para lambanein, would be something like to be, not to be taking along. Let's not be doing that. Whereas this is just blah. He wanted to do it. Verse 38. And Paul was not thinking that worthwhile. This is axiao. So it's imperfect of axiao. I think it's an omicron contract verb. So the third person singular ending or like this, is going to be an omicron and epsilon crashing. And when omicrons and epsilons crash, the answer is oo. And so this is just a third person singular, imperfect active indicative third singular from axiao with an alpha on the front. So Paul wasn't thinking that good. He wasn't thinking that worthy. The one who abandoned from them from Pamphylia, and not having gone together with them into the work. Elf is what? Aorist of Erchomai, that's right. The participles in the New Testament, when they're negated, usually use may instead of oo. Classical Greek can use an oo to negate a participle. I seem to remember seeing an oo negating a participle in James once upon a time. Most of the time, though, may is going to modify a participle in the New Testament. This is aorist of episteme. It's a participle, right? My aunt is an active participle, so it's an aorist active participle. The article never lies. It's accusative masculine singular. Okay. This is also accusative masculine singular. My aunt is an active participle. Elf is aorist. Okay. And then I'm going to have to, because I can't see it, let me just, not to be taking along this one. Okay. And so let's keep going. Verse 39. And it came to be a fierce argument, a paroxysmos. Okay, this sounds really bad. They get into a big argument, and Barnabas doesn't budge. I mean, a lot of times Barnabas, and you have to remember, Barnabas, and I think I forgot to say this in the podcast, Barnabas disagreed with Paul in the Galatian 2 argument at Antioch. Paul sides with Peter. That's got to be part of this too. Barnabas has put his foot down. Barnabas may be a son of encouragement, but he's not a pushover. And he disagreed with Paul in the argument at Antioch. He took the side of headquarters. Now, it may not be that he agreed with headquarters. It may simply be that he felt like we need to submit to those in authority over us, Paul, and then we'll try to work it out. And Paul didn't think so. Paul thought this is a time to stand up for what's right. Now, I would say that in the light of history and the fact that Paul has 13 books with his name on it in the New Testament, that Paul was right and Barnabas was wrong. Now, I don't know whether Barnabas was wrong in that particular moment, but clearly God used this conflict for good. So Barnabas doesn't budge, but he may be wrong. Paul, I wonder if he was kind of on the outskirts of the church, for the next few years. He doesn't say he won this argument in Galatians 2. I wonder if, in fact, he lost it. So, and it became a fierce argument with the result that they, subject of infinitive is in the accusative case, to be separated, to withdraw from one another. This is the reciprocal pronoun, alelo. This is aorist passive because of the theta eta. It's an infinitive, aorist passive infinitive from apokorizo. I'm going to take it just like that. Yes. And so them to be separated from one another. And the Barnabas, having taken the mark, to sail into Cyprus, which it's not a full sentence here, is it? Lobbing you an aorist, active participle, my aunt. So it's an aorist active participle, accusative masculine singular. The article never lies. To sail, sigma alpha, aorist, I, infinitive, so it's an aorist active infinitive. And Barnabas, having taken Mark, to sail to Cyprus, verse 40, and Paul, having chosen Silas, so Xi is the key to a hidden sigma. Hidden sigma alpha tells me it's aorist. Men are passive or middle participles, so this is a aorist middle participle. And epilego, so it's we're going to go with middle. It would have been theta eta or some variation if it were passive, theta epsilon probably in this case. So this is an aorist middle participle, nominative masculine singular, from epilego. And Paul, having chosen Silas, went out, having been handed over to the grace of the Lord by the brothers. So this theta epsilon, I'm thinking aorist passive. And I've memorized ace as a thais as a aorist passive participle, nominative masculine singular. And it's from do-a-didomy, so it's a paradidomy. So it's an aorist passive participle, nominative masculine singular from paradidomy, having been handed over to the grace of the Lord by their brothers, verse 41. And they were going through Syria and Cilicia, strengthening the churches. So this is the imperfect of diurkamai. It doesn't have the elf that makes it aorist like this one does. It's irk, so it's imperfect. It's the present stem with an augment. So it's imperfect, deponent, indicative third singular from diurkamai. Interesting, going through Syria and Cilicia, strengthening the churches. When did these churches in Cilicia get founded? I think it was while Paul was away. Remember, Paul goes home. He gets converted in Damascus. He goes to Jerusalem after 3 years. Then he goes off to Tarsus in Cilicia, and he's there for about 6 to 8 years. I think that he does a bunch of evangelism. This is why, historically, to call the Cyprus missionary journey the first missionary journey, I think is deceiving, because Paul's been on missionary journeys ever since he became a Christian, and particularly in the area of Cilicia, maybe up into Bithynia, maybe up into Pontus. Paul is not one to sit still for 8 years in one place. I mean, the longest he makes it on his third missionary journey is almost, not quite, at least going on the numbers in Acts, almost 3 years. You know, so the idea that Paul's sitting on a rocking chair in Tarsus for 6, to 8 years, I just don't see it. And so where did these churches come from? I wonder if Paul founded them. What is a church? A church is a house church, probably. These are small little churches. These are churches of 40 to 50 if they're big. And so there are cell groups, as it were. Well, there you have it. The Greek of, this is a present active participle, episterizo. And there you have our verses as we finish Acts 15, and we'll begin again with 16, tomorrow.